What's really good, my people? Welcome in to No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me, as always. NFL Week 6, rocking and rolling. We're going to talk about our favorite storylines coming into NFL Week 6. Look at some futures tickets we would look at printing right now. We got a couple that we like. What's the most important thing in the NFL? Quarterback play. We're going to talk about our current quarterback power rankings. The power rankings is always interesting because you could take them a lot of different ways, right? Like that doesn't mean that that's the best quarterback in the league. It's about who's playing the best right now. Connor Bedard, generational talent, played his first game for the Blackhawks last night. Does a special character or a generational talent make you tune into a sport that you necessarily wouldn't spend any time on? No Catch Up, Sports Talk via Chicago on a Wednesday. Let's get to it.
Man, look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what it do?
How we feeling?
Man, we already talked about it, man. I'm battling here a little bit under the weather, trying to battle. I think it's the season change, whatever you want to call it. But
man, you living too hard, man. You become an old man, bro. You gotta slow it down.
It could be the living too hard. That's always a factor for sure. But I ain't been going too crazy, man. I went out to Toronto, but that was a couple weeks ago.
That was a while ago.
Back, it's yeah, man. So I got a little tea.
I mean, when I got back from Denver, low-key, I was fucked up for like 5 days. So could just be, like I said, man, climate change, altitude.
Yeah,
I don't know if you got some altitude or not, but whatever it is, man, that stuff will mess you up for a little bit.
All that.
Just a little bit.
All that. So Big Nick the Quick, man. First of all, me and Nick been talking Top Boy style Wagwan. What you saying? I started Top Boy. I finally started Top Boy. I'm the last dude on planet Earth to watch Top Boy.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to talk in the London slang. You get me, yeah?
Mandem,
all them.
Big mountain.
So we've been having fun talking like that. You should see me and Big Nick the Quick's text thread. It's all in it. You get me. You know what I'm saying in a bit. So we've been having fun with that. But let's jump right into it, man. Big Nick the Quick put the show together today. It's actually a really good show. I'm excited to jump into it. NFL Week 6, always storylines coming in. We close out Week 5 with the Cowboys absolutely thrashing the 49ers, or the other way around, excuse me.
Other way around.
Niners mashing the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons gets on his pod. He starts chirping a little bit. I'm not sure what.
Extreme cornball activity. What's that? No less than 24 hours after getting absolutely thrashed, you decide to respond to Kittle wearing the shirt, talking about we'll see you when we see you, or if we see you again, it's not going to be nice, or whatever the fuck he said. Literally just saw them the night before, and they spanked you all up and down the Bay Area. So please, I thought I said in my tweet, I like Micah. That shit right there was super corny, bro.
Yeah,
extra corny. You can't say that the day after you get shellacked and you did nothing in that game.
That's there's pros and cons to having a podcast that you talk about the game right after the game. That's the con of the whole situation. But yeah, when the team dominates you like they've dominated them, you kind of just gotta tip your cap and try and hope.
Like 3 straight games they've just been dominated by them, right?
And hope you have the opportunity to see those guys again and be able to change it on the field. Until then, you just gotta they're the boogeyman right now, bro. You just gotta gotta keep it moving. Look out for those boys.
100%.
That's mansdom.
Yeah, that's the mandem.
That's mandem. Lead them alone.
Don't tempt the mandem, blood.
The ZTs, bro. Zero tolerance. The Niners got zero tolerance for you boys.
Yeah, don't shot no food in the Bay.
No food shot in the Bay. You get me. So that's all you can do. Tip your hat. Hopefully you see him again and get another opportunity. Hopefully you can make an impact. Talk to me about your favorite NFL Week 6 storylines coming in here. We got a lot going on, man. Belichick 72-3 the last 2 weeks outscored. Tomlin got a W.
Of course.
Justin Jefferson is being smart.
Yeah.
Already trickling out that IR stint of 4 games could turn into 8, which then could turn into a shutdown because we're probably going to be 3.
What
are they
1-4 right now?
1-4 right now. 4 weeks they could be 2 and 7. So it's like, hey, why am I going to rush back? I'm the best. Yeah. I'm one of the best offensive players in the world.
Contract uploading.
Why would I? Why am I rushing?
Yeah.
I don't know who my quarterback's going to be.
Especially if you trade the quarterback.
Right. So talk to me about your favorite NFL Week 6 storylines.
Let's start with that one. I think the Kirk Cousins, will he or will you not trade him conversation is extremely interesting because it's very like NBA/baseball. You usually don't see this in the NFL where we're talking about moving off of a quote-unquote franchise quarterback in the middle of the season and who would be kind of lining up to get him. So I just feel like we've never really seen that happen. Yeah, we've seen big trades. You know, we've seen guys move around, but I can't think of any time we've ever seen a quarterback who would be in that top 15 of quarterbacks move teams in the middle of the year. And it sounds like they're preparing for that, right? Like if they keep losing, they're going to have to hit the reset button. Someone brought up a good point yesterday. Unlike other teams that we've seen in this situation, the weird thing with the Vikings is they don't really have anywhere to turn, right? Like normally it's like, hey, we're 1-6, 1-7. Let's throw in the 3rd round draft pick. If we had a 1st round guy, obviously we want to move to him. They don't really have that young quarterback in waiting. So if you did move off of Cousins, you really are completely throwing away the season, which would be kind of tough to share with the other guys in the locker room. But it sounds that much noise around it. It sounds like it's something that's going to happen. So I think it's interesting to see what happens with the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, man, going in. I think if they, I don't know, who do they have this weekend?
The Bears, bro.
Oh, yeah, they got the Bears. That's right. So they have a very winnable game. But with the way the Bears have been playing, they could have a mess around and lose that game, and then you could see Kirk Cousins on the move. So I'm interested to know what you think about that. Just, again, an unprecedented situation as far as QB movement in the middle of the year. We hear about the Jets. We hear about, I don't know, what are some other QB-needy teams right now? Really, the Jets is the one you always hear. New England.
Jets, New England. A lot of different characteristics have to happen. Yeah. Well,
Ryan Tannehill is actually immortal.
It's a
I looked up the other day. He's been a starter in the NFL consistently for like 11 years now.
Yeah, bro.
Uncontested starter. Just cashing checks, playing every
receiver, wide receiver to a mythical good NFL quarterback.
Yeah, we can win with him.
Yeah. Look back 12 years, nobody's won anything. It's craziness. Anyway.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but hey, what does he do, Nick? When the last time you heard from Ryan Tannehill?
Doesn't say a damn thing.
When's the last time you heard from him, Nick?
Doesn't say anything. The only thing you ever heard him say is, remember when they drafted Malik Willis and they asked Tannehill, like, are you going to mentor him? And he was like, no. No. That's the only time you've ever heard him say anything. Other than that, he doesn't say shit, collects his check, starts every Sunday.
That's it.
Life is easy.
Life out in Nashville.
It's great.
That's it. Yeah. So that's another good point. But coming into the year, we talked about this. The Vikings were on a rebuild. Never announced it. Never really said it.
You've been
very clear. We've been on this.
Yeah, they moved off a lot of defensive guys.
Moved off Thielen, moved off Cook. Never even thought about keeping Cook. Wasn't even a discussion about keeping Cook.
Moved off Thielen as soon as they could.
And he was one of their best offensive players last year.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know where we stand on running backs. I'm not saying they should have extended Cook or anything. But
it was a foregone conclusion he wasn't coming back.
It was a foregone conclusion that your essentially second best offensive skill player wasn't going to be considered to come back. So they were on a rebuild. And we knew coming into the year, Cousins is on his last year of his deal. All that, the money man's guaranteed money is running out after this year. So, depending on what happened, the first quarter of the season was going to determine if they were buyers or sellers. 1-4 through 5 clearly makes you a seller of anything else worth anything in that room. Now, I'm never moving Justin Jefferson. Got to keep him. If he wants to be there or not is a completely different story. But Kirk Cousins is going to leave at the end of the year. Or if it seems pretty clear that he's not the long-term. He's not going to be the quarterback in Minnesota for another 2-3 years. They're not going to give him a new deal. So you absolutely should move Kirk Cousins. Easier said than done. You have to find a suitor, of course. But this is you don't get these opportunities in the NFL, by example, to clearly a good enough quarterback that will essentially be on a rental where it's clear he's not coming back, and you're in a situation where you could get something for him, right? Whether that be a one, whether that be whatever package you put together, you can get something for him instead of letting him walk out the door for free. Similarly to like the Premier League and La Liga and big time soccer, right. You don't want to let guys walk out for free and go on transfer for free. You might as well get a little bread for them before they get out of here. That's what they should do with Kirk Cousins. Now,
well, and it's also attractive for the team taking him on because, like you said, you're not committing to anything long term with him. Like Kirk Cousins is truly in a rental situation. There's no next year of the contract. You're not. If you want to keep him cool, you can go ahead and negotiate, but you are literally getting a player for the rest of this year.
Yeah, it's a clear rental as you're going to get in the NFL.
Yeah,
the Justin Jefferson situation is interesting because, how do I say this? I mean, we keep it real on No Catch Up. He has the perfect soft tissue injury that can maybe linger a little longer than he can kind of control that.
Can't go.
He can control that narrative a little bit. This is not a broken foot that you get cleared to play on. This is a soft tissue where, like, man, I'm not feeling 100. I think I could use another little IR stint. Because you put me on for, if I'm out for 8 weeks, Nick, if I'm out from 8 weeks from right now, season's over.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to come back for the last 2 or 3. Season, pack it up. It's over. Then you guys didn't want to give me a new deal in the offseason. Maybe it's time for me to go somewhere else. That's the interesting part, is the Justin Jefferson situation in Minnesota for sure.
Yeah, I think I can't. When I first heard about this, I'm like, I can't see anybody actually making a significant offer for him. But I'm wondering, like, if you're kind of to your point, if you're Minnesota, are you looking for a significant offer? Or are you just saying, hey, we have no intention of re-signing this guy? If we can pick up a 2, a 3, whatever, or maybe we hold on to a little bit and someone gets desperate and maybe offers up a 1, like, I think they're in a good position to not necessarily have to play hardball. And just kind of get what they want and get out of it cleanly. But I think that, like we talked about, it will upset the rest of the roster. You do have the Justin Jefferson situation. It definitely doesn't make the Jefferson situation any easier as far as him coming back, because he's not going to come to play with, I don't even know who their backup is right now. So yeah, I think it's an interesting
Nick
spot
Mullins.
for them, man.
Nick Mullins.
49ers, Nick Mullins?
49ers, Nick Mullins is the backup in Minnesota, but he's injured, I believe. They actually worked out Colt McCoy and a couple other
talk
people.
About immortal.
Yeah,
Colt gets checks all the time.
Trevor Siemian, Colt McCoy, and Josh Johnson, Tyrod Taylor.
Used to be McCown. McCown, they all learned from McCown. And
McCown, man.
McCown's like, I'll show you guys how to get a check.
20-year guy.
I'll be at the crib on Sunday and employed on Monday.
Yeah, 20-year guy.
Yeah, definitely an interesting situation. I think if you're the Jets. But see, like, then you talk about the Jets, and it's like, man, Zach Wilson's been playing well. So did we move off of him and to bring in a guy who doesn't know the playbook, right? It is a complete it's such an interesting thing. You never change quarterbacks in the middle of the year with a guy who hasn't been there, unless you're in a desperation mode.
But isn't that your job as a GM?
Yeah.
Your job as a GM is to figure out the long-term path for the Vikings to have success. And that would be moving off Kirk Cousins.
It probably would be. Unless you want to bring him back. So let me ask you this: Do you think it's weird that they just have already resigned the fact that they don't want him back?
I think it would be a mutual thing because they're in a rebuild.
Why wouldn't you have
Kirk's not trying to be a part. Kirk's not trying to be part of a rebuild. I think it's I think it's a clear.
You think he's like, I don't need to be here.
I think it's very clear, like both they're going in different directions. So like Kirk's doesn't want to be a part of it. They don't want Kirk to be a part of it because it's about to be a rebuild. Then they would you want to rebuild it all up at the same time. That's why.
Then why wouldn't you have drafted a quarterback? That doesn't make any sense. 5th round flyer, just somebody. If you knew this could potentially be a scenario, why wouldn't you have just at least taken a shot on somebody? But whatever. All right, my next one for you. Philadelphia Eagles. Currently undefeated. Just like last year. Rolling. Haven't necessarily rolled over people. Jalen Hurts doesn't look like he looked last year. I get it. But they're winning. They're eking out a victory against the Commanders a couple weeks ago. Had a little bit of trouble with the Rams this past weekend, but obviously ended up winning that game. 5-0, but it doesn't seem like they get any love recognition at all. Where are you with the Eagles? Are you worried about the Eagles? Do you think they should be getting more attention? Is it kind of like last year when everybody kept giving them shit like, well, they haven't played anybody, they haven't played anybody, they haven't played anybody? It's like this is our schedule, and we're knocking down whoever's in front of us. Or do you think that there's something else going on there?
You don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles get enough pub?
I don't think so. No, I really don't. Not like they should. No.
Like
I mean, I think they get. I think they get. I think they get
Super Bowl
respect
last year.
Yeah, I think they get respect, but it's not like when we're talking about the best teams. I think it always starts San Francisco. Prior to last week, people wanted to talk Buffalo, things like that. I don't think it's like a resounding. Yeah, the Eagles, they've lost 2 regular seasons or 2 regular season games in the last 2 years. I don't think that they get the love that they should be getting. No. And I think part of it is justified based on how they've played. I don't think that they've necessarily dominated. But why? You think that they're getting enough attention?
Yeah, I think they're solid. Yeah, I think like
see what I mean? They're solid.
No, but I think they're undefeated.
Yep.
I think they get talked about enough. They're not the reason the Cowboys get talked about is because they're a shit show. Everybody loves that.
Sure.
The Niners get talked about because they're the best team in football. And then the Eagles still get pub. I don't think that who's the team that's like, for example, I think the Lions don't get enough pub. Like
really, I think
Philly gets plenty of pub. Detroit doesn't get enough pub. I think if you want to talk about a team in the NFC that doesn't get enough pub, it's the Lions. I think Goff has been playing out of his mind. They're coming into week 5. There was 4 teams that were both top 5 in DVOA, and the Lions are one of them. And like no one really mentions that. They're still not believers on the Lions. The overall, Philly hasn't been very impressive to start the year. The defense that had a ton of turnover. Gardner Johnson, Jalen Carter's been awesome. We know that story. Killer.
Talk about generational.
Amazing talent. So, but overall, that D has been in spots where they haven't stood up to. They haven't played as well as they have last year, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So it's similar to it's to one of those things where you go to the Super Bowl and then we expect you to be good. So I'm not going to talk about you eking out W's. Like you're 5-0 without an impressive W to start the season. Like we know you're good. We know you're going to be there. Vegas doesn't disrespect them. They're still top 3 to win the Super Bowl, right? So
yeah,
I think they still get enough attention right now through 5 weeks. Philly is 13th in DVOA, 7th in offense in DVOA. Number 1 in special teams. That actually has them total up in the top 5. So, yeah, no, they're right there.
So you think? I guess the question was, are we properly rating? I guess the real question: are we properly rating the Eagles? And you think they're fine? They're getting the attention that they should be getting.
But listen to the teams they've beat. Like, let's actually stay here.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Patriots are awful. Vikings are awful. Those are both 1-win teams.
Well, give us scores too. They beat the Patriots by only 5.
5 points. They're all 1-score games.
1-score game with the Vikings, 2-score game with the Bucks.
Then they went to Tampa Bay on a Monday night and smacked those boys.
And really had a lot of trouble with the Commanders.
Bro, they went to overtime with the Commanders, who stink. And then they beat the Rams in a 1-score game on the road where the entire building is their fans in Los Angeles. So let's get to the stretch where they play the Dolphins at the Commanders again. Then it goes Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks. Did you want me to repeat that?
Yeah.
It goes right now, starting this week for the Eagles. It goes Jets, Dolphins, at Jets, at Jets, Dolphins, at Commanders, Cowboys, at Chiefs, Bills, Niners, at Cowboys, at Seattle. That is a nasty stretch. Let's see how they look coming out of there. And you want to talk about some people getting attention. they'll get plenty of attention. They start getting beat up in that stretch. So I think they're in a good spot.
We're good. We're in a good spot with Philly.
Honestly, Nick, I think they are getting just the right amount of attention for a team that is beating some of the worst teams in the NFL by one score. Like, they don't want any more attention than this because it actually might start to get talked about how this team might be in trouble coming up here in the next 6 weeks. So I think
Jalen Hurts only 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year so far. He hasn't played that well to get out.
And it's always they are undefeated. Like, that schedule really worked out for them. If that schedule's flipped and they play those guys to start the year, they're 1-4.
Yeah.
So,
and Dallas losing 2 games. And Dallas losing 2 games is really, and the rest of the division being absolutely terrible has really worked out in their favor as well. I think they're going to have more cushion in this division than they may have planned to. So,
yeah. So I think that's interesting. Now, I think the best storyline in the NFL is fucking San Francisco 49ers. Like, we want to talk about, like, can they keep this up?
Yeah. I don't see why not.
That's the biggest storyline in the NFL. Between roster construction, coaching, it's unbelievable the team they have over there.
Mm-hmm.
They have dudes on defense, dudes on offense, and I don't want to spoil all my the Will Purdy stuff I gathered.
Brock Purdy
for the quarterback section. But yeah, that is a very interesting storyline because
Fred Warner looked like the best player in the National Football League on
Sunday. They look unbelievable.
Not Fred Warner. I'm sorry. Was it Fred Warner?
Yeah, Fred Warner.
Yeah, Fred Warner. Fred Warner looked the best player in the National Football League on Sunday.
Yeah, Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
I tweet this every week. This dude tries to kill people when he closes down on tackles. Tries to take people's heads off. So yeah, I love what the Niners got going on. Another interesting storyline overall is, I guess, this Matt Canada thing in Pittsburgh. The footage of him not celebrating the walk-off touchdown was really odd to me. Did you see that?
Someone called him Matt Ukraine on Twitter.
Oh man! Wow,
I was weak.
But did you see that clip?
No. Was that the one where he got yelled at by Boswell?
So no, that was the kicker. I saw that clip too. Boswell said he wasn't talking to Canada.
You know how much juice as a kicker? Okay, maybe it wasn't. But you know how much juice as a kicker? So much juice. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah. So Kenny Pickett. Apparently, well, not apparently, it was clear that Kenny Pickett audibled on the touchdown pass to Pickens, baby Randy Moss, to win the game. And they did a split screen visual of Matt Canada in the box during the play. And they show Pickett audible out of Canada's play. Canada's sitting there watching. He audibles out. 3-step drop, throws the game-winning touchdown pass to Pickens, and the whole box goes crazy. And Matt Canada just sits there, doesn't smirk, smile, or anything. So I thought that was really, really odd. You should look that up while we're on here, just to look.
We score touchdowns when they go against the plays that I call.
Yes, and it was.
You're not even saying it's the embattled Matt Canada. Remember, the embattled Matt Canada is his full name. It's like 3-time NBA champ JaVale McGee.
Yes.
You gotta say the whole thing, you know.
Correct. Embattled Matt Canada. So I thought that was odd because that stuff means more to me than I think a lot of other people. Like, those are the type of details that I take a lot of stock in, just because on an emotional level, your emotional intelligence, like, that stuff means a lot for me. Clearly, he knows how much heat is coming, and he's not even happy if they score. However they get the W, he's not happy about it. He wants it to be his way or the highway type thing. So that's a big thing for me. So
bigger story out of that game is how shitty the Baltimore Ravens, how disappointing. You want to talk about disappointments?
It's just a bad close. They had 7 drops in that game.
Yeah,
it was.
I've expected them to look better this year. I thought they were going to. I told you before the year, like, that was my Super Bowl team. Like, I expected them to come out firing. I mean, they've been okay. but just not, I guess, not where I would expect them to be. But yeah,
fair enough.
10
Let's
points.
move over to some futures tickets. Me being out in New York, I don't have access to the numbers to
You
bet.
can't see anything.
I have stuff that actually plays out on the field. I can see, for example, winner of the NFC future, winner of the NFC North. I can bet those, but if anything that comes down to a vote, MVP, DPOY,
oh, really?
OPOY. Yeah,
Is that a New York thing?
They won't let you bet on them in New York. I could pull up the numbers, but I can't. I have to go.
Is that because of the amount of media members that are in New York? They feel like, well, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't. It's just the way it is.
Okay.
But talk to me about what you've been looking at in the futures market, some tickets that you like right now, and I'll pull up mine here.
So it's probably a better number somewhere else, but I like the Super Bowl future for me. Ben's Niners Super Bowl plus 1,200. Ben's Niners Super Bowl matchup. I feel
a little exacta.
Yeah, a little exacta there. And it's actually going to go against my next one. But if I had to pick two teams that are going to Super Bowl for me right now, it's going to be the Fins and the Niners, with Buffalo kind of right behind the Dolphins in that. But I think that Buffalo has a lot of shit they need to clean up. Whereas outside of that game against Buffalo, Miami has looked great to me. I think Tua, as we get to our quarterback rankings, we can talk a little bit about him. I think the stuff that McDaniel is doing, I was texting you about this the other day. I think I was texting the group chat. The stuff that McDaniel is doing from a play calling perspective is beyond elite. And it seems that every week when you watch them, and Orlovsky did a really good job of breaking it down. He'll do something simple like a screen pass, but there's so much window dressing and so much going on and motion and all this. Where's Tyreek going? Where's this guy going? You know, that he creates so much confusion pre-snap that something as simple as a screen pass throws the defense completely off guard, and he puts guys in space and allows them to make plays. So I think they got some things they need to fix defensively, obviously, but I think anytime you look at a team that can hang 70 on somebody, you got to take them seriously. And then the Niners, it goes without saying, man, right? We talked about the Niners all year, the best roster in the NFL from top to bottom. You got a quarterback that's playing absolutely lights out. You have a defense that's playing lights out. When we talk about our prime positions that we love, well, the Niners have somebody at every single one of them, right? They have a quarterback in Brock Purdy. You have the best left tackle in the game in Trent Williams. You have edge rushers in Joey Bosa, and you have cornerbacks that are committed to the cause as well. So I think just from top to bottom, it's hard for me to see anybody beating this Niners team as long as they stay healthy at that quarterback position. So I think if you can get a better, and you can probably find a better number than plus 1,200, I just going off MGM before we got on. I think that those two teams are on a collision course. Obviously, the Niners a little bit more of a, I don't know, actually, because, yeah, I like it. Ben's Niners plus 1,200 Super Bowl. Lock it in.
Yeah, I think the key for Mike McDaniel, singular, Black Mike, the window dressing is all about getting guys to be just a half step late. Just a little,
think a little bit,
a little iota hesitation on where I'm supposed to be firing, and by that time, the speed they got with Devon Achane and Hill,
who's out,
Achane's out, which might be big,
massive fucking injury.
We'll see
he's
how
so
that shakes.
fast.
But like those speed guys, all they need is just a little bit of indecision, and they've turned the corner, and it's a 30-yard pickup.
And your quarterback gets the ball out right away.
100%.
Right when they're open, the ball is there.
Talk about processing information. Like we're going to get to my power ranking.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember last year we talked about like what were the most important traits of a quarterback?
Yeah.
And I forget what we landed on, but I don't think processing information was number one. I watched this year,
I think it was just mental. It was a mental. We talked somewhere about just the mental aspect. I think
as you watch like the Purdy and the Tua, and these are two guys that don't necessarily have the biggest arms in the world.
No, they don't have. They don't have big arms at all.
Tua does not have a big arm, right? But the ability to get the ball where it needs to go when it needs to be there is elite. It's key. It's the Tom Brady method, right? It's just knowing where to go when it needs to get there. We're not necessarily trying to fire it 40 yards.
It's Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning's never thrown a spiral in his life. Yeah. So just want to add the quick side on that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
yeah, no, it's just about
and McDaniel and like you always talk about that marriage between play caller and quarterback, like it is perfect. And again, watch the pre-snap stuff that the Dolphins are doing. Don't look at the ball. Watch the pre-snap stuff that the Dolphins are doing and what play they actually run, and you'll really see some of the brilliance of this guy. Like he is at a different level.
Hey man, can we keep it 100?
Yeah.
On no catch up here?
Always.
Because I got a couple futures I like.
Justin Fields MVP.
Damar Hamlin, comeback player of the year. He's still the favorite at minus 225.
He's only played one game, right?
Can you win comeback player of the year if you don't play the whole season? I understand the cardiac arrest and coming back from that is once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's back. But now we're talking about dollars here and cashing tickets. How can he be the favorite at minus 225? And he may play 60 snaps.
Yeah.
He can't get on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So number
and if
2
you're
is
in Buffalo,
Tua.
you can't really afford to put him out there for sentimental value. Like you're in a title race.
Yes. Number 2 is Tua at plus 300.
How does he come back? What did he come back from?
From the concussions.
But he finished the season last year.
From the concussions.
When Mike McDaniel, singular, tried to kill him. But Black Mike realized he got Shanahan for a while. Then he realized he wasn't out there. He's like, let me actually save somebody's life. I don't want to be an analyst and get up for the next 15 years.
I'll say this. It's a little expensive. I'm only looking at Rivers because that's the only place I can see. I got a couple plays for you. This is what I'm looking at.
Listen, well, real quick though, on that.
Yeah.
When we saw that number come out, what was it to start? The start of the season was like minus 400 or something ridiculous,
yeah, it was
right?
like minus,
when you saw that number, you already knew the fix was in for that, meaning that everybody knew that he was going to be comeback player of the year. Unless Andrew Luck comes back for the Colts and throws 20 touchdown passes this year, that guy is winning comeback player of the year. I'll tell you. So unless Andrew Luck walks through that door,
you said that's the ticket.
That's the ticket. Yeah, why would you? Everything you know tells you there's when a number's like that.
You say you can't fade. You say you can't fade, buddy, huh?
Yeah, those boats have already been cast. Every single media member. This guy, did he have a uniform this year? Well, he's winning comeback player of the year. He could be on the fucking practice squad. He would win it. He could be playing for the fucking St. Louis Battlehawks. He would win that. So let's move on. Don't waste your money on anybody else.
The St. Louis Battlehawks. All right, I'm gonna give you a ticket here. Jalen Carter, defensive rookie of the year, is minus 177. He should be minus 300. You'd have to fade. You have to fade injury, but that's a good.
Where is he for defensive player of the year? And I'm not even kidding.
Sometimes people don't want to pay the price, but when something is mispriced, it's mispriced. I think Jalen Carter should be closer to like 250, 275 to win rookie of the year. 177 is still there. Yeah,
I guess there's always the inevitable character concern. Like he might do something to not be around for a few games, but so far it's been well. Yeah, you know what? That's going to be probably, when we look back on it, one of the biggest overthinks in the draft was not taking Jalen Carter, who we talked about was not charged with any crime, just had questionable decision making. Look, man, we talk about watching the film all the time. Watch the Jalen Carter film. This is what you want at that position. This is what you want at that position for the next 10 years. This is what you want rushing the passer. This is what you want stopping the run. This is what you want up front. They stole him, put him on a Super Bowl runner-up from last year, and we talk about all those people that they lost on defense. Where would they be without Jalen Carter, without the Carter draft pick? Because he's awesome. If you haven't watched, he's fucking awesome. Like, as good as advertised. Like, they talk about this guy would have been the number one pick if all those issues hadn't happened. Like, he looks like it. He's freaking awesome.
Here's my play for you, because I also think it's interesting. Like, for example, offensive player of the year right now, that's a 2-horse race already for me. Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill. I think they'll be neck and neck enough where you could get a similar price down the road when it's a little more clear cut on who is going to have that award. Number 3 is Justin Jefferson. We just talked about him potentially not playing the rest of the year. And then Jalen Hurts is 3 at 25-1. So Stephon Diggs at 25-1 is maybe a little interesting, but Tyreek Hill, off of the year that he had last year, losing out to Justin Jefferson this year, is going to get a lot of looks along with Christian McCaffrey. So I'll wait on that. But I'll say this. Christian McCaffrey for MVP, I believe, is worth a nibble at 20-1. I've seen it as high still as 20-1. Listen, man.
Peterson, the last non-QB MVP.
Yes, I believe so. Look that up while I give some of these numbers. Including the playoffs, the San Francisco 49ers, since adding Christian McCaffrey, are 17-2. 17-2. The 2 losses, one is to the Chiefs. I want to say it's a 1-score game by a field goal, if I remember correctly. And then the other loss is last year's NFC Championship to Purdy when Purdy went down with the UCL injury in his elbow.
Well, when everybody went down, they had no quarterbacks left.
They had no quarterbacks. They got blown out.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 losses, one to the Chiefs and one when their quarterback goes down and they have nobody.
And the game with the Chiefs was either a Trey Lance or a Jimmy Garoppolo start, correct? Because Brock Purdy's never lost a start.
No, Purdy started that game and got hurt.
The Chiefs won?
Oh, no. Yeah, he did. He wasn't playing for the. He wasn't playing.
He wasn't there. Yeah.
But Purdy started the NFC Champ loss. But he scored a touchdown in 14 straight games. The record is 18
which is
straight.
Crazy, yeah.
The record is 18 straight from Lenny Moore, Baltimore Colts. So if he continues to score a touchdown plus a game, he messed around and end the year at like 25 total tugs.
Yeah.
On top of the quarterback fatigue, 20-1 is worth a nibble.
Is there a quarterback fatigue though? This isn't the NBA where there's like a Jokic fatigue and a this.
I'll say this:
we haven't had one since 2012, and that was Adrian Peterson.
Do you remember when they tried to give it? They were trying to give some love to Jonathan Taylor a couple years ago.
Yeah,
like the narrative is there for a white running back that essentially, if they run off and go 14-3, since they've added this dude, they're 31-5 or something. He has damn near 30 touchdowns, 1,800 all-purpose. Yeah, man. He's going to have to get some looks. I like to bet futures at numbers I know I'll never see again. I'm telling you now, 20-1, you could see in some spots earlier this week. That McCaffrey number you're not going to see anymore, man. You got to fade the injury. But that dude, and Kyle Shanahan gets that guy the rock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think that's worth a nibble at 17, 18, 20-1.
Speaking of narratives, right? Brock Purdy on MGM plus 700 means you can obviously get it better somewhere else. Do you think the narrative, because you and I, again, we talk about all the time, we watch, we understand this is not.
Hold on, let's lead this into the quarterback rankings because then we'll talk about that and we can talk about that ticket. Gave you a couple futures that we like. Let's talk about the quarterback power rankings in the NFL right now. Nick, we're gonna do 5.
Yeah, I'll go 5. We can go 5.
Give me your 5, and then we'll go through.
Yep. So I'm gonna go Purdy, number 1.
Number 1.
Remember when we talk? Let's preface power rankings, heat index, whatever you want to call it. Right. This is right now. This is not saying that I think this is the best quarterback in the league. This is not saying that I think this is the most talented person. This isn't even saying this is the guy that I would start a franchise with. But we're talking about playing quarterback position right now today. Number 1 is Brock Purdy. Undefeated, 9 touchdowns, no picks, right? Goes up against the lauded Cowboy defense last week and absolutely shreds them apart, right? Easy day at the office. All he's done is win, and he's a major part of it. He's not handing the ball off. This isn't Trent Dilfer. This isn't Brad Johnson. This is a guy who's 1,000% making a difference. This is a guy, if he was not there, the team would not be as good as they were, right? So we talk about bystanders and we talk about drivers. He's a driver. Now, he might have a co-pilot and a couple of them, but he is 100% a driver. So I got Brock Purdy number 1. Second for me is going to be Tua. I still think Tua's best game is up there with anybody in the NFL, right? Say what you want to. Tua's best game is 100% up there with anybody in the NFL. We talk about the marriage between him and McDaniel. We talk about the fact that the team just hung up 70 points in an NFL game, and that was taking the foot off the gas. They could have put 100 on those boys if they wanted to. And I still believe that with the weapons that he has, he does a great job. Again, we talk about his limited talent too. He does a great job with what's in front of him. Third, I'm going Justin Herbert. Look, man, It's not necessarily we give quarterbacks a lot of credit. We give them a lot of blame. I don't know if a lot of the things around him are necessarily his fault. I really do think with a better coaching staff, Justin Herbert, I still think that there's still another level for him, which is crazy when you think about how good he is, but there is still like another level for Herbert. When you talk about from like a pure talent standpoint, Herbert is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. As far as how the ball comes out, the athleticism, the arm strength, everything you want in a passer, Justin Herbert is going to give that to you. Fourth, it hurts me to say this, man. It really does. But he's just not playing that well. He is playing great for anybody else, but not for him. It's Patrick Mahomes. A lot of it is just because he is Patrick Mahomes. I think that team has a lot of issues they need to work out. Talk about things not being his fault. Look, I don't know how many more drops I need to see from Kansas City Chiefs receivers on easy passes and big moments. That's not on Mahomes. Has had a couple picks that are questionable this year, but overall, without Mahomes, that team is maybe not winning any ball games, if we're being completely honest.
Number 5.
5 is it's hard, man. If you want to talk about, fifth quarterback, I'm going to go CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is a rookie, playing really, really well right now, not making any mistakes.
I can't believe you left.
You know what? Actually, I'm going Josh Allen. Josh Allen is number 5 for me, but Stroud is right there behind him. Honorable mention to CJ Stroud, and believe it or not, Russell Wilson is playing really well.
You left my number 3 off the entire board.
Who's that? Joe Burrow?
Hell no. Number 1, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Let me go through some of these, man, because I was digging in yesterday. He got a lot of help, no doubt, but these numbers are fucking ridiculous. Brock Purdy, we talked about how incredible he is at processing information.
I know who I left off.
Yeah, you should be ashamed. So don't cut me off.
I know.
Brock Purdy leads the NFL in average completed air yards at 7.1. When he puts it up, he's averaging 7.1 yards in the air. And he's second in completion percentage at 72.1.
So he's not dinking and dunking.
He's going downfield the farthest and completing it at the second highest clip in the NFL. Nobody does that. Period. Nobody is doing what he's doing. Now, I will say this. He's also last in attempts, Nick. 27.4 a game. Which screams where they're not asking him to do that much. But, man, when they ask him to do something, that motherfucker hasn't missed. I bet he ain't missed a read or a throw. The team is so balanced, it's insane. When they ask him to throw it, he pushes it downfield and completes it, but they don't ask him to throw it that much. He's the bottom of the league at 27 attempts. But he's playing the absolute best football at the quarterback position in the NFL. I don't think there's an argument. Like, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Right now, nobody's playing the position better than Brock Purdy. That's my opinion. Number 2 is Patrick Mahomes. Because I think overall that roster is kind of shit.
Roster's
terrible. Like I was actually looking at it the other day, and I was like, this roster on skill wise stinks. That team has 3. That team has 3 legitimate players. They had 3 all pros and then a bunch of other guys that are solid.
His number 1 receiver was a reject of the Giants who had no receivers last year.
Yeah, I have to put him in the 2 slot just because they continue to show up and he continues to bail them out in every way, shape, or form. Number 3 is Jared Goff.
Yeah.
This motherfucker here, bro. When it comes to being another guy in a good situation that the defense is playing really well, another team that's top 5 in DVOA on offense and defense, Detroit Lions. If you let Goff, how about this? There's not very many quarterbacks that I've seen when they're comfortable, he's lights out. When he actually has time and is comfortable, he is incredible. The accuracy, the decision-making, he doesn't always push it to the max, but the accuracy where he puts the ball, especially off play action, is really, really special. that team over there, Ben Johnson calling the plays, offensive coordinator, they've been really, really good. I love what Detroit's doing. So I got him at number 3. At number 4 is Tua Tagovailoa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been lights out. Like you could put Tua ahead of Goff maybe, just because he's been so lights out, putting the ball where it needs to be, and he's been putting up stupid numbers. But they're almost interchangeable. Tua Tagovailoa has been playing great ball, and then number 5 is Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a bad game 1.
No Herbert, huh?
Has been absolutely lights out throughout. I think Herbert is just in a bad fucking situation.
No, I'll let you finish. We'll discuss that after.
But Josh Allen had a bad game 1, and then essentially played the best quarterback in the league weeks 2, 3, 4, and then was forced to go to London in week 5 and didn't play well, and they got there
against a team that had been there for 2 weeks.
Yes, that was a really difficult situation. So I think he's still playing top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. Yeah. These are really slim margins, of course,
for sure. And I feel and I'm not trying to disrespect Jared Goff either. It is disrespectful because when I think about this, I don't even think about Goff. I mean, if we're being honest, for 2 years now, Jared Goff has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And this is a continuation of last year. So I would probably, if I had to change anything, you probably convince me to put Goff over Josh Allen right now. Or maybe over Herbert because the team's not playing as well. I see stuff when I watch Herbert that, like, remember I always tell you about Burrow and ball placement, and I'm just like, yo, that's really special, and guys aren't doing that. I feel that way when I watch Herbert with some of the throws that he's able to make, but overall, it still hasn't all been put together to lead to a bunch of wins. But I'm not ready to put that on him, and I 100% agree with the Kansas City Chiefs. If you really break down that Chiefs roster, if Mahomes has an injury, I don't see a path to victory for that club. Like, they're really not that good. Yeah. Like, he has, if you look over the last few years, he has lost all of his good weapons. Even you look at a guy like Schuster last year, Juju Smith-Schuster was huge for him, right? Just having a receiver who knows what to do. Like, we talk about, vets and things like that. There's a reason that Aaron Rodgers wants to bring Randall Cobb everywhere with him. There's a reason that you see certain guys keep getting jobs because, yeah, Smith-Schuster's not a 1,000-yard receiver or anything like that, but at least he can catch the ball. And we're watching some of this stuff with the Chiefs and Tony Moore. All these guys are dropping passes left and right. So you would hope that gets better throughout the year, but he is making a lot out of not too much right now because they have kind of taken away a lot of his talent. So.
Dude, after take away Travis Kelce, he's obviously number 1 in targets, number 1 receptions, number 1 in yards. Number 2 in targets, Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Noah Gray, who's been solid. And then you get to Pacheco, who's a running back.
What are we talking about? Really scare you. Yeah. Outside of Kelce, nobody on that roster from a skill position standpoint scares you.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mahomes continues.
But they still can't guard Kelce.
Like, even if Pacheco goes down, it's like, fuck, man. That's a big loss.
Yeah, because, Edwards-Helaire, like, yeah, these guys, Mahomes is keeping that thing together.
Yeah, bro.
Like for real, keeping that thing together.
And it's also kind of one of those things where, like, what the fuck is the GM doing over there?
Yeah, you need to be making moves. You should be making moves all day long.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? Well, you're rolling out Mahomes and Kelce and saying it's all good because it was good last year.
Like, go get Devontae Adams.
Yeah, go get some. Yeah,
really. Well, like right now.
Yeah, right now.
Like, what do you want? What's up?
You are in a real you just won a Super Bowl last year. As long as you have this guy, because we both agree, like, I know I call you a Mahomes hater, but you know, as long as you have this guy, you're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, man.
If he gets hot for 4 games in January or in December and January, you go to the Super Bowl every year with this guy. So it's in your best interest to surround him with something from a talent perspective that can help him out. You're 100% right. Go get anybody.
Go get a real wide receiver.
Yeah. Hey, you know who it reminds me of? It's like the Bucks. Like right? Remember we said it for a year with Giannis? It's like, hey, you have a guy who, if you he doesn't need everything, but give him something and you're there.
Yeah, he's got.
That's how you should look at it. Go for broke, man. Try to every dollar you got.
Literally, try to.
Who wants to? What can we give you?
You should be in. The Kansas City Chiefs should be in salary cap hell every year because they're trying to pull out every single stop to get Mahomes another weapon here or there. So yeah, I agree. So yeah, those are my 5. Shout out Mahomes, what he's doing with that. Rashee Rice.
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore.
Remember, Kadarius Toney exiled from the Giants last year when they did not have a wide receiver. Exiled.
Go get Devontae. Go get Justin Jefferson. Fuck it.
Yeah, why not? Do you want to come play here?
I'll empty the clip for Justin Jefferson.
Me too.
Vikings, you want to rebuild? I'll rebuild your whole shit.
Would you trade Kelsey for Jefferson?
Hell no. Because that fucks up the whole the inner workings.
It also fucks up the
relationship.
Mahomes would be hot.
Oh, that's what I mean. So
that's
yeah,
like his Gronk. Yeah, that's like his Gronk. Yeah, I need that. This is the guy I go to when it all breaks down.
Dog, Brady went and got Gronk back in Tampa, and they won a ring.
He unretired him.
Unretired him, won a ring, and then he retired again.
Let's grab one more. And he said, "Fine."
Fine.
Got him one. I remember Gronk showed up like week 7, didn't he?
Yeah.
He wasn't really playing at the beginning. Listen, man, I need you, bro.
When got AB, bro?
Hey, listen, man.
Let AB stay in his crib.
One day we will look back and truly appreciate the fact that Tom Brady switched teams at 43 years old and won a Super Bowl. I just want to go ahead and just put it out there. It doesn't get the love it deserves.
Yeah,
we could have a whole episode on how I think Tom Brady is criminally underrated, but we don't have to.
Criminally, come on, man.
Criminally underrated.
How so?
He won 7 Super Bowls.
Bro, he was doing.
We talk about the greats. Because we talk about the greats, and these guys have 1 or 2. We talk about Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback. This guy's been to 1 Super Bowl.
No. I said the best.
Yeah, Tom Brady's been to 10. You know how hard it is to go to 10 Super Bowls? Been to 10 Super Bowls, dog. Stop the cap. What are we talking about? 10 Super Bowls.
He was doing a documentary.
My man moved to a different conference in a different state, and it was like, fuck it, I'll win another.
Bro.
He threw for 5,000 yards last year. What are we talking about?
He was bad last year.
But he threw for 5,000 yards. Look, his Tampa in those 3 years in Tampa, I think he threw for like 15,000 yards and like 70 touchdowns when he was 44 years old going through a divorce.
Wait,
that man is different, bro.
Bro, he was going through it, bro.
It was going through it. Couldn't tell.
Low key, that last ring, maybe it cost him his marriage, bro.
Might have cost. That's commitment, bro. You want all on the line. I'm here with y'all, man. I could be home saving my marriage. I'm here with y'all.
Dude, the year they won the Super Bowl, remember he won MVP. It should have went to.
He should have won 2 MVPs in Tampa. He should have
won. He should have won. He should have won MVP in 2021, but it went to Rodgers. Remember, I had a Brady ticket.
Yeah.
In 2020, his first year there,
when he was 43,
4,600 yards, 40 tugs,
40 touchdowns. The Bears have never had a 4,000 yard passer in their history.
Yo, guess how many times he threw for 40 tugs with New England?
Never. Once. The Randy Moss year.
Once when he threw 50.
Yeah, exactly. He got better. He put up some of the best numbers of his career at a new team when he was in his mid-40s going through a divorce.
Then the next year, 2021, that's when they won the Super Bowl, right? Or did they win it in 2020?
No, they won the first year.
First year, yeah.
The next year they did all right, and then the last year they weren't good.
The next year he was absolutely lights out. 5,300 yards, 43 tugs, 12 interceptions.
So that's already 11,000 yards in the first 2 years he was there and 80 touchdowns.
It's not
80 touchdowns. 80 touchdowns.
100. He had 108 touchdowns in 3 years for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Come on, bro.
Then he went 4,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks, and that was probably the worst season of his life.
And that was a terrible year for him. He threw for 5,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. And he was 45 and fully cooked.
108 touchdowns, 14,000 yards in 3 seasons, 32-18 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Come on, man. And a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, that's what I'm trying to criminally underrated, bro. Nobody even talk criminally underrated.
That's tough. I can't.
He's criminally underrated. There is no discussion. There's no discussion. Don't talk to me about Peyton Manning. Don't talk because Peyton Manning stole his last Super Bowl. He was not. He talk about a passenger. He was
his second
arm
one
didn't work.
Passenger
arm did not work.
He played like
Osweiler played half the heist.
Osweiler played a majority of the regular season.
Yeah.
Shout out Brock Osweiler.
Tom Brady came out there and they were like, "No, we're running a passing offense."
Yeah, you're throwing the ball 50 times.
Throwing the ball 50 times. Oh, great! This is great. Remember, no risk it, no biscuit, baby. Remember when he first came there, they're like, Tom had to talk to Arians like, yo, we cannot play this way. Like, I'm not dropping back 50 times. Like,
yeah, and Arians like sipping whiskey, like we'll do what I say.
Go. All go. Slow go. Like, yeah. Tom's like, this shit don't work, bro.
Sluggo. That's funny. All right, let's get out of here on Connor Bedard, generational young hockey Iceman center for the Chicago Blackhawks. Made his debut yesterday, had an assist.
Mm-hmm.
Really quick, before we get into Bedard, do you think so? Bedard's first point was on the hockey assist, the second pass. Should the NBA have a little hockey assist?
Yeah.
Should they add like
soccer should
they add like the little half assist or something for the hockey assist?
Sure.
You think so?
Sure. I like the hockey assist because a lot of times it is the play that makes the play that makes the play, right? It's the pass before that. It's the cross court pass to the guy who then dumps it off. Like,
right.
That person doesn't get anything for that other than the replay glory. Right. And I feel like we do need to. And same thing with soccer, man. Like it's hard to build up to a score.
No doubt.
And sometimes it's that assist before the assist that puts you in position. Yeah, absolutely. Why should he get point? He gets an assist and I get nothing. I'm out here making outlet passes. I'm out here, I'm out here running the flow. Yeah, for sure, man.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right, Connor Bedard. So did you watch? We can answer our own question.
Yeah, so obviously Connor Bedard coming to the I'm not going to sit here and talk about hockey like we know everything that's going on. But my question to you was pretty much, will a generational talent make you watch a sport that you don't normally watch? So we like hockey, but we're not big hockey guys over here on the pod, full disclosure. But yeah, I tuned in, man. For me, I think number one, because he's playing in our city, right? I think that I wanted to see that, and there's obviously a ton of hype. And then number two, I wanted to see the hype, man. I feel like I went back through my head and thought about like the most hyped athletes of our lifetime, right? You go to LeBron, I think would be number one. You go to like Crosby. When Crosby was coming up, I don't know if you remember the hype around that. Yeah. Zion had a shit ton of hype. In baseball, you go to like a Strasburg. You remember the Strasburg hype train was crazy.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper hype train was absolutely crazy. Yeah. So you have these guys where it's like, yo, these are can't miss guys that you've been following for years as they come into the league. So obviously, when one of those lands in your city, man, I felt obligated to watch. Plus, I like hockey. Every time I watch a hockey game, I enjoy it, especially playoff hockey. Like playoff hockey is crazy intense. Guys are flying all over the place. So yeah, man, I 100% tuned in, man. I got me a nice beverage, something to eat. Like I was waiting all day.
Can he play? I didn't watch.
He can play. Yeah, he's nice. From what I saw, he's doing things, man. He's a little guy. Seems to be a lot of finesse in there, so he'll have to kind of figure out his way. But I was talking to my guy last week. I had dinner with my buddy Cody. He's a Toronto guy from Canada, big hockey guy. And he was telling me, he's like, no, these are like he's generational, right? We're talking Crosby. We're talking McDavid, and then we're talking a guy like this, right? You know anything about Crosby, obviously he's one of the greatest players ever to play. McDavid's probably the best player in the NHL right now. And he said Bedard is kind of on that level. So, yeah, man, it made me 100% tune in. I don't know if I'm going to watch all 82, but I wouldn't be surprised if I caught 25 to 30 Blackhawks games and probably went to 5 or 6 this year. Like, that's my goal, to see him. 5 or 6 might be aggressive. No. Well, listen.
Hey,
I'll give 4. I'll give 4 4 hockey games. That's my goal. Let's see Bedard 4 times.
If Nick the Quick goes to the United Center to watch the Blackhawks 6 times, I'll give. I don't even know what I would do because that shit is not happening. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
I feel so, like, you know how you say you got to see him. Like, I feel like I'm gonna gotta see him with him. Yeah, if we had, especially because it's not. We can get to the UC, right? We can get to the UC if we need to. So yeah.
The one thing I'll say about these generational guys is they do look different visually if you go see them in person. I saw Connor McDavid against the Rangers, and he picks up the puck. It's just different. And I'm not a hockey guy.
Yeah.
But I'm looking. I've been watching the game, and he picks up the puck, and it's like, hey, who is that? That it looks different. He's moving different.
Bill Simmons calls it the alien test. If an alien were to come down to Earth and watch a game, would he be able to pick out and be like, "Oh, that guy's just, I don't know anything about the sport, but that guy right there is different."
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, who is this guy? I don't know anything, but this guy's the guy.
I was in Madrid, sitting at the Santiago Bernabeu. Literally, people on the pitch are Christian Bale, Sergio Ramos,
right,
Casemiro, Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez. Neymar was out when I was at El Clasico, but I mean, these are the best of the best. And when Messi picked up the ball in the middle of the pitch and was on the ball pushing it forward, looked different. Looks different. The speed was different. Everything about it looks different. So yeah, you gotta check out the generational dudes. So I'm gonna have.
You didn't check in. You didn't. So you didn't.
I didn't watch it.
Night. Okay. So will you watch some Bedard this year? Does it pique your interest in a sport that you normally wouldn't go for?
Yeah, it helps that it's the Blackhawks. Honestly, if he was on like the Kraken, I'm not watching.
Well, they wouldn't have allowed that to happen. That's the other thing. They're saying the fix is in. There was no way this guy was going to. Hey, listen, man, this guy's got to go to Chicago, Toronto, Montreal. He's not going to Seattle. He's not going to Columbus. Yeah. So yeah, man, no, it's exciting. And it's also good to see the city excited for somebody, man. Like, look, we've had our share of guys who I guess last generational guy would have been like a Rose type situation. The city was buzzing. You remember what it was like when the Hawks were winning. We were never big Hawks guy, but the energy in the city was awesome.
Yeah, you got to support. Yeah.
Went out a few times when they won. Like it was great vibes, man. So we want to see all the teams do well. So I will say, yeah, I will tune in. See, if the only sport I would be like baseball, it's just hard for me to watch a baseball player that's not on my team because I just don't care.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna watch the Dodgers tonight because I'm exposed.
Are you?
Yeah, go print some Dodgers tickets.
How bad?
If they get swept, I'll just pay. I'm going down with Mookie, Freeman, and Jay Hay and the rest of those guys. If they get swept, I'll just give up my bread.
I know nothing that's going on. I know the Orioles got swept, right?
Yeah, they got packed up. The Rangers been mashing.
Yeah, they won 101 and got swept. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna be watching the Dodgers. I have a couple tickets. I got minus 140 too. So money line. I like it. I think Dodgers get the W, and then we move on to the weekend.
Who do you think is the most hype guy you've ever seen come up? Is it LeBron?
Yeah, it has to be.
I say LeBron or Crosby. Like LeBron or Crosby.
LeBron wasn't
in football. You don't really get him because it's such a long journey.
This was the thing too. Like I think you feel the hype a little more depending on what time of life you're in. And that was when I was in high school, right?
Yeah.
So like this dude felt like, when you're an adult, you're like, you don't really accept the hype as much, if that makes sense. You don't soak up the hype. You don't really believe
Zion
it.
Is a great
it's almost
example.
like, yeah, we'll see when he gets up here. But you're fully enthralled in the hype when you're in high school. And he was in high school and he was driving Hummers and
the Hummer controversy.
He was playing on national TV and he was covering up tattoos. And it was just a different hype beast, man.
Yeah.
And then you get to his first game. He goes to his hometown squad. He cooks in his first game. Like I think it's got to be LeBron for me.
Sure.
In my lifetime, that was some hype like I had never seen.
Yeah, I'd probably say LeBron. The Zion thing, but the Zion thing almost became like manufactured in the sense that it was very it was just a social media.
Yeah, and that was also before
Yeah,
that's interesting.
LeBron had hype before social media, which is crazy.
Yes,
he was all over the place before he could be all over the place. Yeah,
and it's also I think you digest it differently too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was still some mysteriousness to LeBron.
Who else got a ton of hype? Remember Freddie Adu?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Tons
crazy hype, which was they fucked him up, but yeah.
Yeah, tons of hype for Freddie Adu too. But yeah, there's Mbappe was really hyped. Different generation. He's lived up to that. So yeah,
most of the guys have is the other thing too. When you talk about outside
the guys that are extremely hyped,
the extremely hyped outside of Zion, who I guess the jury's still out. Crosby came through. LeBron obviously came through. Strasburg. He won a World Series. Got paid a shit ton of money. And got
Ohtani had tons of hype. He lived up.
He lived up to it. I guess Bryce Harper has lived up to it. McDavid obviously lived up to it. Golf. Tiger Woods.
I think maybe if you asked a younger guy like this, Wembanyama coming in is pretty up there.
You asked my dad, you know who he would say? and didn't make it. He's always talking about Bosworth. He's like, you've never seen a guy more hyped than Brian Bosworth in Oklahoma. He goes, you would have thought Bosworth could walk on water. He's always Bosworth.
Talking about the linebacker.
The linebacker from Oklahoma. This guy was in movies, everything. He didn't do shit in the league. Like that's his hype, like, type guy. I said Bos was so big, it was crazy. But
Bo Jackson ran folks ass over.
I saw Reggie Bush live in college. When you talk about it looks different. I saw Reggie Bush in a college football field, and it wasn't fair.
Men against boys.
It was different. Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. No, catch us Sports Talk via Chicago. Tell a homie to tell a friend. We'll see y'all for the Bears recap Monday. Holla at your boy. Wagwan. In a bit.